Hello, welcome back to our weekly meditations on preparation for Christmas. I'm Pastor David Schoob at Trinity Lutheran Church in West Bend. And today we read one simple verse, a verse that's pretty familiar to almost everyone in the church. It's John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, so that everyone who believes in him may not perish, but may have eternal life. It seems so simple, that verse, and yet somehow we get it so mixed up during the holiday season. The center of the holiday is really that God loved this world so much that God sent the Son as a gift to bring life and hope and light to all people. At the deepest level, something inside of us knows that reality, yet the world becomes this place where we go crazy. We start running around, getting and giving gifts, which is really a nice thing in one way. But it's so easy to miss, in the midst of that, the real gift, and miss the chance to make that the very center of all that we do as we move toward Christmas. Whenever I see kids in line waiting to sit on Santa's lap, I can't but help but think back to a long time ago. One of my little cousins was waiting to sit on Santa's lap, and when they got up there, Santa said, "Well, what do you want for Christmas?" And they said, "Nothing. Give all my presents to the poor kids." Now, I'm sure they didn't fully understand what they were saying, and if they had come to Christmas and there had been nothing under the tree, there might have been some disappointment. But still, in that minute, for everybody who heard it, something turned upside down. Or maybe I should say right side up. Suddenly there was that moment of understanding what this is all about. I read in one of the chicken soup books something very similar, and just for a few minutes, think about this story. In spite of the fun and laughter, 13-year-old Frank Wilson was not happy. It was true he had received all the presents he wanted, and he enjoyed these traditional Christmas Eve reunions of relatives this year at Aunt Susan's for the purpose of exchanging gifts and good wishes. But Frank was not happy because this was his first Christmas without his brother Steve, who during the year had been killed by a reckless driver. Frank missed his brother and the close companionship they'd had together. Frank said goodbye to his relatives and explained to his parents that he was leaving a little early to see a friend. From there, he could walk home. Since it was cold outside, Frank put on his new plaid jacket. It was his favorite gift from his grandma. The other presents he placed on his new sled, and then Frank headed out, hoping to find the patrol leader of his Boy Scout troop. Frank always felt understood by his leader. Though rich in wisdom, he lived in the flats, the section of town where most of the poor lived, and his patrol leader did odd jobs to help support his family. To Frank's disappointment, his friend wasn't at home. As Frank hiked down the street toward home, he caught glimpses of trees and decorations in many of the small houses. Then through one front window, he glimpsed a shabby room with the limp stockings hanging over an empty fireplace. A woman was seated near them, weeping. Stockings reminded him of the way he and his brother had always hung theirs side by side. The next morning, they would be bursting with presents. A sudden thought struck Frank. He hadn't done his good deed for the day. Before the impulse passed, he knocked on the door. "Yes," the sad voice of the woman inquired. "May I come in?" "You're welcome," she said, seeing his sled full of gifts and assuming he was making a collection, "but I have no food or gifts for you. I have nothing for my own children." "That's not why I'm here," Frank replied. "Please choose whatever presents you'd like for your children from the sled." "Why, God bless you," the amazed woman answered gratefully. She selected some candies, a game, the toy airplane, and a puzzle. When she took the new scout flashlight, Frank almost cried out. Finally, the stockings were full. "Won't you tell me your name?" she said. "Just call me the Christmas Scout," Frank replied. The visit left the boy touched and with an unexpected flicker of joy in his heart. He understood that his sorrow was not the only sorrow in the world. Before he left the flats, he had given away the remainder of his gifts. The plaid jacket had gone to a shivering boy. But now that he was heading home, he suddenly realized the problem. Having given his presents away, Frank now could think of no reasonable explanation to give to his parents about this. He wondered how he could make them understand. "Where are your presents, son?" his father asked as he entered the house. "I gave them away," Frank said. "The airplane from Aunt Susan, your coat from Grandma, your flashlight? We thought you were happy with your gifts." "I was very happy," the boy answered. "But Frank, how could you be so impulsive?" his mother asked. "How will we explain to the relatives who spent so much time and gave so much love shopping for you?" His father was firm. "You made your choice, Frank. We can't afford any more presents." His brother gone, his family disappointed in him, Frank suddenly felt dreadfully alone. He had not expected a reward for his generosity, for he knew that a good deed always should be its own reward. It would be tarnished otherwise, so he didn't want his gifts back. However, he wondered if he would ever again truly feel joy in his life. He thought he had this evening, but it had been fleeting. Frank thought of his brother and sobbed himself to sleep. The next morning, he came downstairs to find his parents listening to Christmas music on the radio. Then the announcer spoke. "Merry Christmas, everybody. The nicest Christmas story we have this morning comes from the flats. A crippled boy down there has a new sled this morning. Another youngster has a fine plaid jacket, and several families report that their children were made happy last night by gifts from a teenage boy who simply referred to himself as the Christmas Scout. No one could identify him, but the children of the flats claim that the Christmas Scout was a personal representative of old Santa Claus himself." Frank felt his father's arms go around his shoulders, and he saw his mother smiling through her tears. "Why didn't you tell us? We didn't understand. We're so proud of you, son." And then the carols came over the air again, filling the room with music. "Praise and sing to God our King, and peace to all on earth." Well, am I suggesting that we give all our presents away at this Christmas? Well, maybe. I know that would be awfully hard for us. But I do want you to remember that God gave us everything at Christmas. Maybe someday, we'll be inspired to turn Christmas right side up, upside down, however you want to think about it, and follow God's example. Think about that as you listen to the song, "Give This Christmas Away." And may you find the true gift of Christmas in your own preparations.